growing up wasn't something you experienced, but something that was decided for you. In The Giver, Lois Lowry builds a society where adolescence, which Cleveland Clinic defines as a physical, cognitive, and psychological change, still exists, but is fundamentally distorted. Cognitively, children in the community only receive formal education until age 12. After that,
They are assigned a lifelong job and begin training.
even before 12, certain concepts like release or what their future assignment might be are completely off limits. Not because they are unimportant, but because the community controls exactly when they are allowed to understand them. Psychologically, while adolescents in the real world typically experience emotional turbulence during puberty, here, those emotions are deliberately suppressed, leaving teenagers cognitively mature but emotionally hollow. In other words, the community doesn't just shape when you grow up, it controls what kind of person you're allowed to become. As for how this plays out throughout the story, Nafisa and Jory will take you through the details.
Hi! So, in The Giver, the transition from childhood to adulthood can be seen through physical, social, biological, and emotional growth. First, physical and social growth. Physically, growth is shown through a series of ceremonies, like in the ceremony of 9, children receive bicycles, which symbolize independence and the beginning of personal responsibility. And then, in the ceremony of 10, their hair is cut into standard style, showing the loss of childhood innocence and the start of conformity. And then in the ceremony of 11, clothing changes reflect physical growth and the move toward adolescence. Most importantly, the ceremony of 12.
The ceremony of 12.
Children are assigned their lifelong roles by the elders based on observations. This marks their transition into full members of community, but also this means that they have no control over their own future. And then, biologically, growth is shown through natural processes like Jonas experiences during, which mean the beginning of puberty, but it's controlled with medication. And physical changes are also standardized through ceremonies emphasizing conformity. In addition, the role of birth mothers shows reproduction without emotional connection, as it is treated as a assigned job. Next, emotional growth. Jonas develops moral awareness when he realizes that release means
Death.
which make him question his community. He also develops empathy through painful memories, allowing him understand and care for others, especially Gabriel. Finally, he begins to understand complex emotions like love, realizing that feelings are deeper than what his community allows. So, the transition from childhood to adulthood is shaped by physical, social, biological, and emotional growth.
So, now let's talk about the final stage of growing up in the community, responsibility and the loss of innocence. So, after the ceremony of 12, childhood is officially over. Kids start their training and take on real responsibilities. But for Jonas, this step goes way deeper. As the new receiver of memory, he doesn't just learn a job, he learns the truth. He experiences real pain, real love, and discovers the horrifying truth about what release actually means. This marks the total loss of his childhood innocence. He can't be a clueless kid anymore because he is forced to see how dark and complex his world really is. So, to wrap it all up, what does coming of age actually look like in The Giver? So, unlike in our real world, growing up in Jonas society isn't a natural process. So, it is heavily controlled by age system, ceremonies, and strict rules. We see a clear shift from learning to taking responsibility and moving from childhood innocence to harsh awareness. But the biggest takeaway is this: the community's version of growing up is fake. It is a system that suppresses real human emotion and individual freedom. True maturity, as Jonas finally discovers, only happens when you break free from that control and choose to feel everything of yourself.